That's our journey across America, and it's an America of unusual time, right? The stories that we're getting, some of them are like Wild West stories, some of them are folklore, some of them are stories from indigenous folks, some of them are stories for new folks, and they're all over the place. We ran into some magic hippies earlier, so anything can happen, it seems. Let's carry on. Let's wander our way through ye old America. Yeah, many time flux.
You've seen migrant camps before, and they tend to look like the town dump. This one, though, on a good day, this could pass for a town. Starched white tents stand tall and many, and a stroll through the grounds finds you neither trash nor trouble. You hear some chatter from a large tent on your left. On your right, a tent in the shadow of the trees emanates a soft buzz.
Either one doesn't really matter. So we can go chatter in the tent on the left, or a shadow of trees and a buzz. I'm gonna go right, cause. Oh, this. Okay, can I just take a quick second? Yeah, see, chat's picking it up already. This is the worst. Why would you do this? Go right is on the left. Go left is on the right. It's like showing someone a piece of paper with the word red on it written in purple and say, what color is this? All right, I want to go right, so I got to click the option on the left.
You pass through a shroud of flies into a curtained waiting area. The air is pregnant with the stench of rotten meat.
Yikes.
But the area is empty. Almost clear.
You have
Except for the
returned.
black stains
Welcome
that
back,
have seeped
Smeltzer.
into the soil. There's only the curtain, which reaches all the way from one end of the tent to the other.
Black stains, the stench of rotten meat. Let's fucking go in there, I guess.
It wears a black overcoat and a white porcelain mask with a fat, sharp beak. There's a butcher's knife in its gloved hand.
This is the pest house.
It snaps in a woman's voice and yanks the curtain shut.
Terrifying. The strangely clean tent city. Okay. I'm gonna just... Thanks, Cleveland. You're really messing with me, Cleveland. Alright.
The car is a lifeline, your one hope to escape the encroaching storm. It rattles along a few yards ahead of the storm front, jouncing and juddering, one pothole away from being swallowed by the choking dust. A figure clings to support straps mounted on the back.
Jouncing is a really good word. Jouncing. I like that. It's like bouncing, and what does jouncing even mean? The definition of jouncing is to... Oh, okay, jolt, or it's jolt and bounce together. Okay, great.
You grab the straps and haul yourself up.
Oh,
Shouts the woman on the back.
a fellow observer.
She's wrapped in a scarf and aviation goggles, juggling a pen and a notebook while hanging onto the unsteady car. The dust scours your face and rips at your clothes.
Can't we go faster?
We're not done with our observations.
Oh my god, it's Twister.
She threads one arm through the straps and makes another attempt to write, but it comes out illegible.
Blast it. Get inside and take dictation, will you?
Girl, you don't have to tell me to take dictation twice.
You clamber through the open back window, and she hands you pen and notebook. You scribble furiously while she dictates the finer qualities of the dust and wind assaulting the car until her voice is hoarse.
Oh my god, Twister sisters.
That'll do.
She bangs on the roof.
Judith, let's go.
Awesome. The women who studied dust storms. That's an exciting story. So the idea is you figure out what kinds of stories that you got, and then Oh, look. I didn't notice this before. The game has an exact trail. Oh, I don't think we zoomed in far enough last time. Look. So we started up here in Maine, and it shows every story we've collected and how they're connected from one to the other. This is a hell of a tour across America. South Carolina, back into North Carolina, down into Georgia. Georgia out here, out down into Florida, all the way down the Panhandle, up back here, up into Alabama. Do a little dance through Tennessee, back north through Tennessee into Kentucky. Border Kentucky up into Indiana, and then over up here into Ohio. We're going to go up into Michigan, and then we're going to hook back on over to Illinois. And then we're going to head south to Missouri. That's so cool. Oh, I like it. I like that a lot. All right, so we're heading here. We're going to Detroit, across the Ohio-Michigan border. Yep, America. Honestly, to be fair, and I'm sure a lot of my Canadian and European counterparts are agreeing with this, my understanding of American geography is Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, other, like, etc. Texas now, because I know I've been there a bunch of times. Mexico, that's not part of America. Puerto Rico. Yes, I pronounced Illinois incorrectly on purpose. Bonjour avec l'Illinois. It means ill in black. But yeah, this middle stuff, like, I don't know if someone asked me what, like, where, I don't know. Like, it's the same with Canada, right? Like, Canada is like BC, Alberta, Ontario, Quebec, the Maritimes, other, like, the middle bits of North America are the most underappreciated. I feel you, people who live in Saskatchewan. All right, so we're gonna hit up these, and we're gonna go into Detroit. It means
She
2-3
waits
in
by
French.
the ruined mill, in an overcoat 2 sizes too big.
Look, over here. Look at this.
She yells.
This only happens once every 10 years, for Christ's sake.
She grabs your hand, and you both look at the black gear rolling west to cover the sun.
Hey, Bubba Johns, welcome back. So, Sun Tarot guy here. Do we look at it and get mathematical superpowers, or do we look away and not go blind? Let's look at it. Let's be stupid and just stare right into the eclipse.
Steadily, the darkness draws across the sun until it is almost total. She clutches your hand tightly.
I've never seen this before. I've never seen this.
The sun, obscured, throbs and expands, raging against the night. The eclipse breaks. The sun surges forward.
The writing in this is amazing.
Screaming, burning, writhing in torment. Your eyes burn too, as if in retaliation, as if your witness of the sun's humiliation constituted some great insult. You look at her. Her eyes are bleeding.
Oh, damn. Cool. Well, we went all in on that one, and it turned out about as you expect.
Stacks of suitcases grind the parked Model A deeper into the dirt. An extended family inside defies the carrying capacity of the vehicle. The driver leans out the window. Want this? He swings a violin around by its neck. 10 bits. We need it for gas. You hear a muffled pounding from somewhere within the car.
So let's talk about the writing in this for a second. So it's one thing to say you see a Model A packed with stacks of suitcases, and another to say, listen to the poetry in this line. Stacks of suitcases grind the parked Model A deeper into the dirt. It's so good. Like, the language bears the weight. Yeah. Violin stream, 10 bits. That's just it's so good. I love it. There's a lot of that in this. The writing is very poetic. Yeah. Stacks of suitcases, deeper dirt. Yep. Yeah, like it feels like someone who wrote this has at least a mental understanding of poetry, and I think it really can really change. Even if you don't notice it, it can really change how you absorb a piece of material. I don't have 10 bits, so
6 bits then. We need it for gas. The pounding becomes frantic.
yeah, all right, I'll buy a violin.
The violin is yours, and the car shudders down the road. It's not quite out of sight when the back door pops open and you hear a girl's voice scream at you.
That violin belongs to Louise Ames, you dumb fuck.
The door and the girl are wrestled back into place, and the car fades into the blur of the horizon.
I don't know who Louise Ames is. I'm gonna keep this violin I paid for.
Its weight feels like a comfort as you walk. After all, who knows when you'll need Louise Ames' violin.
Violin's got a good story. We talked about a violin the last time we played. We talked about the red violin. Yeah, that was the one-time mandated ESRB fuck where the game's rated M now. I always thought that was so funny that you had a budget of swear words. All right, Detroit, what's that weird feeling in the air? Something between dread and frantic optimism, maybe. Everywhere you look, there's looming factories filled with churning machines and new unions, they say. Let's try to earn some money. I've never done this successfully, I don't think. Detroit, let's look for work. Detroit seems like a look for work city. You hit 4 factories, but nobody's hiring today. God damn. Welcome back, XP. Soon you notice you're cruising around the city with the same group of rejected laborers. Oh, this is the same one that I had before. I've seen this one before. Screw this city, huh? Let's explore.
The rain is coming down so hard. It's a wonder the sidewalk hasn't started to crack. You manage to find a narrow patch under a ledge where you can stay dry.
Let's wait out the rain.
A squat man, bundled up in a black fur coat and matching hat, approaches. The thick rain flattens and mats his fur. He squints up at you.
You're in my spot.
He crows.
I refuse to move. This is my spot. Black
He
fur
leans
coat man.
in. You catch a flash of wrinkled red skin and sharp yellow teeth.
I've been here a long time. You best show me respect.
You know what? I'm scared of you, rat man.
The man gives you a long look, then turns and keeps walking. A minute later, the ledge
God damn it.
collapses. Falling brickwork catches you hard on the shoulder. You cover up to protect your head from more debris and get hit by a crashing wave of water from above. You stand there, dripping and dazed. The rain abruptly stops.
The red creature in the fur coat in Detroit. All right, some kind of monster. Can I buy a coney dog or some scrambled eggs and heal myself? That's right, I saved that poor man. I don't have any fucking money now because I bought that damn violin. And now I'm injured. Oh, man. Okay, well, let's go to camp and tell some stories. I'm going to hook back to that little lake over there. Illinois always makes me think of the, that Sufjan Stevens album. Anybody remember that? When Sufjan Stevens was going to do an album for every state and he did like 2? Which is fine. That's a lot of output.
There's something wrong about this lonely farmhouse. The cows have unusual rain over the porch, and the open door shows a cow lying in the empty parlor.
A cow house?
The flower boxes are still well tended, though. There's outgoing mail in the box.
How strange.
The moment you step inside the fence, an old woman screams.
Hey! Hey! This is private property!
You quickly realize that the sound is coming from under the porch. Indeed, you can see her hollering at you through the slats of the steps. You can see a parlor set up in the basin under the porch. A flowery armchair, a rug, and a little lacquered table.
This is an inhabited home.
The old lady barks.
The cows live upstairs, and I live down here.
Above, a cow thumps its hoof. She twitches and startles.
That's a way to live.
That's right.
She shouts.
I'm a grown woman. I can live any way I please.
She shuffles to her chest of drawers and digs out a packet of
So
rock
good.
candy in
Hey,
wax
Brant, welcome
paper,
back.
like a grandmother saves for her grandchildren. She hurls it in your face.
Thank you for visiting. Now get out.
If you haven't listened to Illinois, it's so good. Sufjan Stevens got like weird after a few albums, and maybe that's good too if you like that stuff. But his that album is so good. It's one of the best. It's a classic. You should definitely check it out. Sufjan's great. All right, chapter 2, Franklin.
It's a funny thing, someone looking right through you. But don't lie to me, friend. I know you want to know the truth, what it really means to be a porter.
I like Franklin.
Well, I can tell you it's more than making white folks happy. That's just how it's supposed to look. But you go on so long being how you're supposed to, you're not quite sure how to go back to what you are. Though I suppose I can give it a try.
There's a lot of good character insight in this. You go on so long being how you're supposed to, you're not quite sure how to go back to what you are.
Have any optimistic tales? I'd like to hear one of those.
That's some Persona shit right there. All right, he wants a tale of optimism. Did we tell him the story about the seagulls? Yeah, I feel like that's an optimistic story about family. Let's tell him that one. Tell the story of the seagull spirits watched over a town for
Just like I
generations.
told you,
There
friend.
go.
Miles of smiles.
See? He liked that one. Good.
Family. Porters spend so much time not seeing our own families. We got to make a new one on the rails. There's a reason why we're the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters. It's because we are brothers.
What an interesting job that would have been, right? Like, you would have seen so many different people. I guess it's like flight attendants now, but longer, right? Like, can you imagine, like, you're a porter on a train from, I don't know, like Seattle to New York or something? It would have... God, that would have taken forever. How long does a train ride from Seattle to New York? Train, Seattle to New York. Amtrak train says 2 days, 21 hours. And that's a modern Amtrak train across the Canadian border. Wow, almost 3 full days just like with the same people doing your job. It's less that you're gone for weeks at a time, more that I was thinking, and more that you're like in service to a particular group of people that shift slightly. So interesting. If you haven't taken like a long, I mean, people who live in Europe have much higher chance to take these kinds of rides. But yeah, I do the Vancouver. I've done the Vancouver to Portland, and we do the Seattle to Portland once in a while. It's real nice. I like riding the train. Much more relaxing than planes. So much more room. Yeah, an Amtrak train from Seattle to New York. Let's see. Can I get a cost for ticket information? Let's see. In US dollars from Seattle. This is just the longest thing I could find. King Street Station to Penn Station, New York. Departing. Fuck it, chat. Let's go today. It'll take us 2 days, 21 minutes. Or 2 days, 21 hours, and it'll cost $320. $320 or $360 if we go business. So there you go. Yeah.
You got any stories with a bit of excitement to them?
All right, exciting stories. We just learned one. That was the. Oh no, it's not on our list. We didn't add it to the list. Okay, I need an exciting story to tell this guy. Casey Jones is an exciting story. We've told that one before though. I want to try to like bump up some of these other ones. Let's see. It's a good exciting story. The trick is that a lot of these exciting stories are also scary, so you want to like find one that's one and not the other. We know the Killer Pigeon one is scary. Slow going Carter in Louisville. Future Boston, maybe? That seems like an exciting one. Let's tell him that one. Yeah, I mean that train ride I imagined, that 320.
That story on the radio?
There you go.
You told it better though.
It includes like sleeping on the train. Yeah, there'd be no way to take a train that long without.
I guess the future's in our hands. Nobody had ever seen organized black folks before the Brotherhood came along. It's on us to make sure that's how it keeps on going. See, I spend a lot of time thinking, will we be the first black union or the only one? You got any stories with a bit of excitement to them?
I just told you an exciting story. You know another one? How about if I had the Twister Sisters one, but it's not logged in my set. So let's tell them the story about, where was it? I just had one. Casey Jones. He's gonna appreciate that one. He's a train guy.
Whew, that's a wild one, all right.
There we go. So we maxed him out. That's how that works.
It's not just people riding on these railroads. See, most days I'll pick up a newspaper or a magazine or an album somebody left behind. Then I'll give it a read or a listen and maybe even sell it someplace where they don't know Bessie Smith yet.
Oh, that's cool. So he travel, and he's doing what we're doing, right? He spreads those stories around.
Anyway, I'm in the mood for a good happy story. You got any?
Happy, huh? Did I tell you about the gay guys that live in the tower? Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that story. That's my favorite story.
A positive attitude. That's what I like to hear.
America's big gay lighthouse.
Love. Yeah, porters like to spread news amongst ourselves. And nothing is more newsworthy than a phone number a pretty little Piola just happened to leave behind. Don't tell anybody, but that's how I met my last girl in Harlem. Anyway, you must have some funny stories to tell. Share one.
Funny story. Okay, well, I know the mysterious woman with the letter made somebody laugh last time. Let's try that one again. There you go.
I'll keep this story in my pocket for sure. It'll make some passenger laugh. Home for a porter is the next train station. It's a warm Baker heater stove in the middle of cramped living quarters. Another night over. I've got to get going.
Oh, I'm gonna hit.
My journey takes me down.
He doesn't
the
go
rails
very
this
far.
way.
I'm gonna hit
But it
him
was
up
good
again.
talking to you.
I'm gonna hit him up again in Indiana, which means I should switch out some of my stories.
And how'd you like that, Sharon? Our dark silhouette's a little easier to make out. Sooner or later, the whole world's got to know what we really are and what's it really like. That's the only way we're really gonna matter to anyone besides ourselves. And now that you know the bad, doesn't the good sound that much better? Sharing goes both ways, though. Is your truth a little more complicated, too?
Let me tell you about a man named Sting. Okay, so we've upgraded Franklin's travels, and yeah, if we head south, we could catch Franklin before we go over here into Illinois. But I don't know that there's much left in Michigan. Let's take a look north. Okay, there's one more story to collect in northern Michigan, and then we'll turn around.
Surrounded by fields of corn and rye, a small farm lies fallow. Its tiny stable crumbles into disrepair, and foxtails sprout from its fields.
Let's see what's inside. I think this is the devil, this one.
Inside, the sunlight filtering in through two small windows turns to hazy gray shafts in the thick dust that blankets the interior. There's not much in the way of furniture, but on a rustic kitchen table, a handwritten note catches your eye. Never opened.
God, I would love to play like an urban fantasy, like role-playing game based around like Americana, where you have reason to travel. Like maybe you're actual hobos traveling on the rails and going to different towns and stuff. Set during the Depression, that was something about telling stories, and that was part of your character, that your stats would adjust depending on the kinds of stories that you told or had told to you. But it would be urban fantasy, so it would be like all of the mythology. We'd take all the mythology of early America and make it like real. Kind of like a Neverwhere, but instead of for London, for the Americas, for America. Wouldn't that be cool? It would be cool. Yeah. Kind of like Ryutama a little bit, but like America and not a video game. Yeah.
It's addressed to Martha and unsigned. Her name is written in the stiff letters of a man for whom literacy is more a formality than habit.
So good.
If you find this, I'm already gone. Don't come looking for me. The rest is scratchy spirals and circles of halfway readable writing about the noises from the cellar and the hunger in the darkness. The cellar door at the edge of the abandoned kitchen calls to
Obviously,
your
this is
attention.
Kent Farm. Let's go down into the cellar.
The door is unlatched. The ground below is deeply stained with some dark residue you can't identify. Upon it, only ancient piles of chains and manacles, slowly turning to rust.
Okay. That was frightening. Let's get the fuck out of there. It's been really fun playing this with y'all, with chat, hanging out, because everybody's got like, I keep seeing people be like, oh yeah, go to my hometown, I'm right near there, or like, hey, that's where I live. Like it's really cool seeing that, and people having their own like attachment to the various stories. So I guess we'll go down and we'll finish up with Franklin, and then we'll take the road, the 52, across Indiana up to Chicago, I guess. That seems good. Let's do that. Yeah, can't go to my hometown either, because it's too far north for this game. But we're gonna get close. We'll get real close. Standing on where you live right now. Right near the Ohio-Indiana border. Oh, now we're in Ohio. Yeah, we just left Michigan. so heading back this way towards Cincinnati, and we'll stop and talk to Franklin. I was born in Kamloops, but I grew up in Kelowna. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right. What's up, Franklin? Let's see what other stories I can tell you, bud.
Some people like to think of porters as some special kind of black folks. I suppose that's true. I know I don't always correct them. But we ain't special. Not really. No matter where I go in this country, I'm a black man before anything else. That was true before I put on this uniform, and it's going to be true long after I'm buried. You got any stories with a bit of excitement to them?
Yeah. Totally, with all your floating masks. All right, I need an exciting story. Quinn's Adventures.
Didn't I hear that story on the radio? You told it better, though.
No way, Franklin. That's a hobo
Travel
story.
is changing the world, friend. When we drop off a new jazz album someplace folks ain't never heard it before, we're dropping off a bit of the new culture. We help it spread. Now, we ain't writing those damn songs, but I think that's worthy of some credit. You got any stories with a bit of excitement to them?
He just like really wants exciting stories. I think I'm starting to run out. The bull with a flaming crown. That seems okay.
Whew, that's a wild one,
Yeah.
all right.
Good, it's working.
Authority. Well, delivering the news is how we shape our own stories. Telling tales is one thing, but putting them on paper makes it all the more real. Anyway, I'm in the mood for a good happy story. You got any?
Happy. Let's see. Happy story, eh? Grave robber? 60 unidentified corpses? Yeah, I'm thinking maybe that church, the church guy story. Where is it? The metal worker in the company house. The determined communist one evolved. The determined communist story became the workers' movement in New York. Where is it? This one, the rising worker. All right, let's tell that one. Maybe I think that's a happy story. We'll see. He may not agree.
Just like I told you, friend. Miles of smiles.
Yeah.
When do I feel free? Well, it's always a party when the train rolls through Harlem. There's a real movement happening. So much art and thinking and expressing. Money and trains only gives a sort of body freedom. Mind freedom is something else. Tell me something that'll make me laugh. I could use a chuckle.
All right, a funny story that I haven't told him yet. Funny is the stories that I have very, very few of. So this can be tricky. Well, the communism story is happy for him because he's also a worker and he's in a union, right? And so let's see. Yeah, humor is not so easy to be found in this particular day and age. I don't know if I have any more funny ones. The fire. Well, there was that one where I got bamboo. Oh, the four identical men. That's right. That is a good one. Yes. Let's see if this one. Yeah, Nona. Let's see if this one makes them laugh. I think it's worked before. I think it's been a funny one before.
I'll keep this story in my pocket for sure. Yes. It'll make some passenger laugh. I think about the past a lot. Some days I think if I told my great-grandfather my life story, I'm sure he wouldn't believe his ears.
That is a truism about living in the modern era. Like, I think any time. So let me wax historical for a second. So Dan Carlin, the host of the absolutely brilliant. I would love to sit down and talk with Dan Carlin, but the absolute brilliant hardcore history podcast. Dan Carlin talks a lot about how you can divide time between everything that came before World War I and everything that came after World War I. And I think that Franklin's thought here about some days, I think if I told my great-grandfather my life story, I'm sure he wouldn't believe his ears. I think that's true of every generation since 1910, right? Like, we live in a time where the singularities high-speed approach isn't so much about our bodies changing or technology changing us, but about cultural shift happening so fast. And if you're interested in that, yeah, Dan Carlin's podcast series, Blueprint Armageddon, is so good. And it talks about that in several of the episodes. The way that if you look at the beginning of World War I and you look at the end of World War I, it's like looking at two different worlds. It's very cool. Not World War I. World War I sucked ass, but yeah, Dan Carlin's approach and the way that he looks at the watermarks of time.
But other days, I look around and things don't feel all that different after all.
How does that phrase go? I always wish I could remember this, but I always forget the French. Plus ça change, plus ça la même chose. The more things change, the more they stay the same. That idea of fundaments sticking around, right? The idea of what is true forever, what is innate to the human condition, only being visible when we perceive what changes. And the idea that everything is fluid. It's so cool. That's one of my favorite foreign language phrases, even though I can never remember it. That and the Latin for kill them all and let God sort them out. That one sounds badass too, and is such a fascinating story too. If you don't know the story behind that phrase, look it up, because it's something that someone like actually said prior to a terrible massacre. But the story around it is fascinating.
Change is fast and slow all at once.
Like a train.
Anyway, you must have some funny stories to tell. Share one.
Funny? Aw, buddy. I just told you, like, the only funny story. And I don't have access to my, like, the lady that lived under a cow house. Maybe Dupree's got some funny stuff. Yeah, Moenis, that's the one. Those pig farmers were weird. Do I have any more funny stories? I got that one where I got screwed over by the bottle tree. I think is a scary story. The funny thing is nobody wants scary stories, but they do really want funny ones, which I don't have that many of. Also, Franklin's heard most of my good stories already. Strange Street Lost in Time. It's not really funny, but it's a bit weird. Yeah, the ghost prank was the one I was thinking of, but I don't have the... Oh, Jesus, Dave. Get out. Dave just said, tell him the story about how you're a skeleton. I always found that story humorous. I'll fucking fight you, Dave. Get out. All right, let's tell the story of the Street Lost in Time. I don't really have like a lot of other...
That one will probably ruin the mood if I share it in our quarters. Yeah, I can share some sadness with you. It sounds odd, but I get a little blue whenever I hear that a porter is the best thing a black man can dream to be. This can't be all there is. Here's the sun. I've got to get going, friend.
Oh, we didn't quite get Franklin all
But
the
this
way up.
conversation has me so excited. I'd love to continue it. I'd love to tell you more about what I and men like me can be in this world.
I would love to hear about that, Franklin.
I'm headed this way next.
Okay, good.
Will you look for me if you find yourself there?
So he pretty much just rotates around this little area. Because if we look, yeah, he went backwards on my trip. So I'm gonna go up the 52 into Chicago. We'll see if we come back. Hey, Laren. So that's northwest. This way. Yeah, that's the 52 there. Okay. Yeah, this game is pretty cool, and I like it because I feel like I'm gonna get a chance to play through it all without necessarily like ruin it for all y'all. Like you could pick it up and play it yourself, and you could make so many different choices. But I also feel like there's no. We'll see about the ending, but I'm really enjoying the fact that I feel like I'm just gonna get a satisfying story experience, regardless of the decisions that I make. All right, we're coming up on Chicago. An exciting town, jewel of the Midwest. But let's visit its outskirts first.
There's a truck parked here. The driver mistakes your look for curiosity. You want to see something interesting? He asks, pointing to the trunk. He opens it. There's hundreds of metal tubes with little numbered screw-on caps sorted in wooden racks.
What are they?
We've been surveying,
Ooh, they're maps.
he said. It's my job to study soil health. The trunk has a map taped to it, marked with numbered dots. I can show you the one from your hometown if you see it here.
It's not on the map. I'm from Canada.
It's an official-looking map, but the state borders and rivers are wrong. Half your county is missing.
Skeleton County?
The surveyor offers you a coin for directions to your hometown, but his notes are funhouse mirror English writing. Fascinating, he murmurs. We learn so much from you folks.
All right, strange soil surveyor. So he gave me some money, which I can use in Chicago to buy my health back. Let's do that. Oh my gosh. All right, let's go to the store. I'm gonna buy me some scrambled eggs. Oh yeah, okay. All right. So, downtown bustling behind you, Lake Michigan stretching before you. Chicago's beautiful, isn't it? I've always wanted to go to Chicago. I need to have an excuse to go there. I think I'm going to try to go back to New York this year. But there's a dark heart to this place. Dangerous men on the streets and a glint of fear in people's eyes. Ooh. Ooh. All right. I love these sketchy drawings of the cities. I cannot wait to see the sketchy drawing of Seattle, which is a city I actually know. Let's explore Chicago.
It's the midday,
Ooh.
and yet this whole neighborhood is eerily quiet. Everyone seems to have retreated into their homes as if warned of something. You soon realize what? The reciprocating sound of a Thompson gun, emptying its drum.
Ooh, damn. Run for cover.
You get behind a car, putting the engine block between you and the sound. But it's muffled, coming from inside a building. You're in no danger, you think. So you allow yourself a peek above the black hull of the car. And running down the cobblestone street, a man in fine, blood-spattered clothes. He has his hands out, mouth open, screaming something. But you don't catch what he says. He's drowned out by gunfire. and his body slumps to the ground.
I have to keep watching.
The men responsible, 3 abreast in dark overcoats and wide hats, walk up to him to check on the body.
You workless gamer.
The smallest of the 3 has a
Happy anniversary.
nervous energy about him.
People are gonna see us, boss.
People ain't gonna see nothing. Not on these streets.
Yikes. Cool. So, this is a really great question. Dave asked, could earn money just not work as a part of the setting building of the game? Yes, totally. And that is a thing that I would find really amusing and clever. That there's no work to be found. There's no money to be had. That's pretty interesting. Let's look for work in Chicago. Shouts echo from a nearby alley. You discover a crowd of men unloading sacks from a truck as fast as they can. When the truck empties, it roars away. Another surges up to take its place. The sacks are lumping, heavy, and stained with dark smears. Yes, blurts a laborer. Do we ever? An older fellow, however, throws out his arm to shut the man up. We don't need help with the stuff, he says, stepping close to obscure your view of the goods. Mind fetching water instead? He waggles a few coins in your direction. Yeah, there we go. So we've gotten a couple of bits of money. Yeah, sure, I'll get some water. You fill their pail at a nearby station. When you return, the men are waiting in the alley, innocent as anything. They wash a sticky residue off their hands in the water, and the boss passes you a couple of coins. No sign of the goods anywhere. Damn. Yeah, so it's hard to get money, and I think that's part of the design. I don't think it's impossible. But these are hard times. And that's illustrated. Oh yeah, there's a new person. I don't think we've talked to this guy just outside of town. And then I don't know, do we take Route 66? Should we get our kicks? Or should we continue? I guess we continue south. We can go talk to her and go through Arkansas. Yeah. Let's hit up the south because we haven't been to Louisiana yet, and I super want to get to New Orleans for sure. Okay, so let's head this way. We're gonna go see this camp.
The baby buffalo lies tangled by a fence, wire biting into its flesh. Please, it says, I must reach the sanctuary before they find me. The light here has a thin quality. Colors are oddly muted. There's a taste of something old in the air. Whoa. They were hunters of my kind. I am the last born. Every year it repeats. I must run. They must chase. It is the cycle that lets my people survive. You hear hoofbeats. A ways back down the road, a cloud of dust rises. The buffalo struggles. Please, help me.
Okay.
The wire cuts into your hands, but you untangle the animal. The buffalo charges off as soon as it's free. Come on. You glance behind.
What's up, giant nut?
A trio of riders emerges at the head of the dust cloud.
The setting of this game, both the time and the location, is America. Follow the buff.
You run alongside the buffalo. Not far. It grunts. Just ahead. You see the boundary, a line of rocks that mark the border, but the hoofbeats sound close. The ground dips, and the beast stumbles and falls. I'll be on you any second.
Do we distract them or do we carry the buffalo? Let's carry the buffalo.
You snatch up the beast and run for the boundary line. All you can hear is the pounding hooves and the whooping of
injured
the
again.
riders. They're on you just before you reach the line. You hurl the buff forward as you fall. The buffalo crosses the line and turns with a defiant bellow, a primal sound that far outstrips its size. It drags its feet through the dirt, kicking up a cloud of dust. When it settles, the four are nowhere to be seen. You hear the distant clamor of a herd in motion.
Awesome. The last born buffalo.